Hey friends, good to see you again. So let's continue with our Synastry series today and talk about the inconjunction between the moon and Uranus in a Synastry chart comparison. So this is not composite chart. Composite chart, I have a playlist for that. You can find that in a different way. This is chart to chart comparison where we put the two charts together to see how the different needs are intersecting or if they are at all. So, with this particular aspect, the inconjunction between the moon and Uranus, we have a deeply unconscious blind spot operating, as we almost always do when we're talking about an inconjunction in synastry. It is a deeply unintentional yet consistent undercurrent in a relationship, the energy of a inconjunction. Some of them could be really good, depending on what the combination is. This is one that is quite disruptive. So you're going to want to look in the composite chart and see what the two are bringing out in each other in the larger scope of things, because this is one that does cause pretty regular disruption to the consistency that is required for the moon person to feel safe and secure and to experience soothing, and then consequently for the Uranus person to be able to settle down and see the moon person as a safe place to be. There is a feeling on the moon person's part that the Uranus person is disruptive in some way, even though there isn't like evidence that you can point to. There's not something obvious that you can say, aha, that's it. In the beginning, there is a sense in the moon person that the Uranus person is gonna spring something or do something or be the cause of something. The Uranus person is putting out an unconscious vibe ahead of them that they are the agent of change. They are the disruptor, and the moon person is picking up on this, and it is so deeply unknown to each other. So the moon person starts to act in extremely subtle ways that confirm to the Uranus person that they are disruptive, and their disruption and the way that they can trigger the moon person, how they can disrupt the moon person, and the evidence of that, it lends some kind of confirmation to the Uranus person. It is an ego affirmation, if they're really honest with themselves, if they really knew what was going on. It's a very teasing, we could even say cruel connection. The thing is that the Uranus person can be the nicest person on the planet. And this connection will bring out this jokery quality where they'll want to needle the moon person. And then the moon person reacts, gives them some amount of energy, and it's like confirmation that, oh, I could make you feel. Oh, look what I could do. Oh, look, the rise I can get out of you. I feel more validated by that. it it is a kind of a narcissistic tendril. It doesn't mean that one or the other is a narcissist. It brings out this certain type of interaction that you can see as a theme in that type of interaction or that type of relationship. And so we have to recognize what is happening, even if we can't put our finger on why or from where it comes or why this person seems to bring this out in us. None of that matters, because you probably won't be able to find it. You just have to recognize that if you're the moon person, you have to recognize that you are more reactive around this person. And they're not going to likely, unless they're educated in astrology or they're going to listen to you, they're not likely ever going to recognize or take responsibility because of the nature of the inconjunction. They're not going to take responsibility for what is happening. It's a massive blind spot on the part of both people. And both people are likely to go the whole course of the relationship and not understand that it is the reactivity and the payoff that is the crux of the problem here. And one of you has to stop. If one of you stops, it's neutralized. This isn't even one where both of us have to stop playing a part in it, or both of us, have to fix ourselves. No, one of you has to decide. Either one of you is going to stop reacting and stop giving the Uranus person the payoff, or the Uranus person is going to stop trying to needle the moon person to get a payoff. Either way, you're going to find peace. But one of you is going to have to make the sacrifice. Such is the nature of an inconjunction, isn't it? It always involves sacrifice, doesn't it? So one of you is going to have to choose. Maybe if you're lucky, or if you're both educated about what's going on here, you'll both do your part. And it's not even necessary, though, in this case. This isn't about a compromise. This is about an either or. It's an inconjunction. Either or one of you has to take responsibility for what you are doing. Not wait for the other person to stop reacting. You're not going to be able to neutralize this if you're waiting for the other person to see their part in the blind spot. It's instantly solved when one of us stops the behavior on either side that's associated with the worst outcomes here. And if we do successfully, say the Uranus person figures it out and decides to not prod and needle the moon person to get the kind of confirmation, that they're valid, that they've always gotten. Say they give that up, they make the sacrifice, and they let the moon person be in peace. The payoff for the Uranus person is emotional maturity. This is a massive leap in emotional maturity, such as the combination of moon and Uranus, and what Uranus means. Do the math. And the moon person, if they're the one that makes the sacrifice and starts to take responsibility for the volume and distribution and control of their own emotions, they emotionally also come into balance. It's not the leap that you get on the end of the Uranus person. Just, that's the nature of Uranus. But it is a way that the moon person starts to provide for their own balance and security and equilibrium, and they come into more emotional mastery and emotionally mature themselves, but in the scope of what the moon means. We start to balance and calibrate our own emotions and our own emotional reactions. So there is an appropriate way that we will express our feelings. You'll do it in the right way with the right person and at the right time and in the right place. Gets less messy. And there can be a beautiful reflective quality to this, where one of us cuts the shit and stops either trying to get a rise on the part of the Uranus person or stops rising as the moon person, gets some control there. It allows the other person to, if it's the moon person if it's the Uranus person that, cuts it out, and the moon person then is in a position to start to regain their balance, to come into their safety, to develop the things that they would have developed if they were the one who had made the original sacrifice. There's a beautiful reflection here between the two. And say it's the moon person that comes into their maturity and balance and cuts out the reactivity, then the Uranus person is left without an audience. They're left without this confirmation that they are meaningful, or look what I can do, or they have to stop playing the game. Uranus is the Joker. So both of us can have a effective waking each other up to a more mature aspect of ourselves by managing this or coming through it. A lot of people don't. They will remain in that blind spot loop, and this can be one that over the course of time is so disruptive to the moon person that they will become worn down. They will never really be able to achieve that balance or that safety, that security, and you can only be in that position for so long before you start to break down, before you start to get too tired. Your nervous system is so poised and so triggered so constantly that it just comes to a point that the moon person will get emotionally tired, and they can even start to flatline because it has been such a period of constantly firing off. So it's like a nerve that is so exposed, and it fires and misfires so many times it eventually develops some amount of neuropathy or numbness. And that has its own issue. Now we have a slow withdrawal that can come, a slow numbness that over the course of a longer term relationship really turns into an emotional ignorance of each other, ignorance of each other. So this is one that really does need to be managed, because it can have some some effects on the health of the moon person and the ability for their nervous system and their emotional system to, to sustain them over the course of time within a connection like this. So, you know where to find me if you got this one going on. If you've got this one in your relationship, then it's probably good reason to have a couple session, so it can be explained to somebody by somebody who is not you, and the other person might hear you. Alrighty, so that's what I got for today. If you're interested in hearing more about this or having your own charts analyzed, or if there's a relationship that you are having issues with or you need help with, you can find me at my website, truthandaspectastrology.com. I'm on Facebook, Instagram. I'm not very good at social media, but I show up when I have the energy for it, so it's kind of hit and miss there. But you can always schedule with me at my website, and I will see you guys super soon. Bye-bye.